guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Beyside Jewel. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm coming out here real quick. I, I was thinking about. I came all the way to Africa to, get the African experience and, be amongst our people. And I've learned quite a bit over here, and I see how they do things, especially in the Muslim community, and even they got, Fulani tribe, and that's the tribe which my African ancestry came back showing. Actually, it's either Fulani or Yoruba because they're both the same people. And they're both from the same place, which is called Cameroon and the Bioko Island, right? So, no, I didn't go to Cameroon, and actually I have no desire to go to Cameroon. But there are Fulanis here, and I see how they operate. They business people here, business minded. A lot of the shops here, Fulani, they do a lot of business here, and they're Muslim, and I know the Muslim culture. So yeah, I'm, closer to my roots. Yeah, I've observed, and it's pretty cool. But also, I had a chance, especially the last few days, to look into my roots right there on the land in America. As I told you, I know my family there is basically from the Blackfoot tribe, right? So, yeah, I did a little research on Blackfoot, and I got a story, you guys. Hey, you know what? I'm very fortunate because I remember my great grandmother, and sure enough, she was a Blackfoot native. I was only about 2 or 3, but I remember her so perfectly. I remember down in Mississippi. That's where I'm originally from, Mississippi. There was a big bed in the middle of the floor in the house just for her, So she slept in that bed. She actually she left her tribe and she came to live with my grandmother. And when she got there, I was just amazed because I knew there was something special about her from the way she dressed. She didn't have on typical clothes like everybody else did. Our clothes is like European clothes, Her clothes were like specially made just for her. And the fabric was very unusual fabric. And she was dressed with beads, and she wore a part in the middle of her head and her hair hanging down on both sides. Yeah, I do remember her totally clearly. And I remember the day that she actually transitioned also. We went to the state fair, and when we came back from the state fair, they were taking her out. They were taking her out of the house. For me, it looked like something, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was her. And then they had her tennis shoes sitting on the porch. And first thing I said, "Where's Grandma?" Because that's what I called her, Grandma. "Where's Grandma?" And my grandma said, "She's gone, honey. She's gone." Well, I didn't understand what she mean by she's gone. I didn't know she had transitioned, but that's what she kept telling me. So I'm fortunate to remember my great grandmother who actually put the Blackfoot in our family, So that means my mom is her granddaughter. My grandma was her daughter, and my mom is her granddaughter. Yeah, so she actually came and transitioned. She actually came and lived with us, and she transitioned. Yeah, she left the tribe. She came to live with us. I don't know, maybe she knew she was going, maybe she knew she was going. But anyway, that's what she did. So I'm very fortunate to actually remember her. So I guess, my grandma was actually living outside the tribe. She wasn't in the tribe. And my grandmother had 15 children. She had 15 children, and she wasn't living in the tribe. So I don't know what happened if she just left on her own or what happened. I don't know. But yeah, I totally remember that. And so I got to digging, and I did the research on Blackfoot Indians, right? Natives. And Blackfoot was a very powerful tribe. I guess they were one of the most aggressive tribe of people. They're on Turtle Island, or Morocco, because that's what they called it back in the days before the European invasion. Morocco and Turtle Island. And they were known to be fierce. Yeah. And, that was back then, and they're still fierce to this day because, they've been fighting the U.S. government ever since they got there. The government has taken much land from the Blackfoot tribe, but the Blackfoot tribe, fought them in court as well and won most of their territory back. The last case they had fighting was in 2023. And they won that case too, where United States wanted to drill on some particular land, and they was like, no, you're not going to do it, But they won that case also. And I guess their primary base is in Montana. And their location is as far as Canada all the way to, I think, the Grand National Park is their territory. So, we may not see it, but there are certain parts of the land that the U.S. government can't mess with because of these native tribes. They fight them for their territory. They said, no, you can't drill here. This land is sacred, And it also brings me to another point, you guys. I'm fortunate enough to remember my great-grandmother. I don't know if some of you out there are also. Hopefully, there are some of you that do remember. But all of us are basically a mixed race of people now, All of us so-called African American, we are basically a mixed race of people now. We have some African in our DNA because we're descendants of Africa as well, and a lot of us have this, like I said, Siberian or Mongolian is what they call Indian. A lot of us have that in us. And some of us even have some European, like myself on my father's side, on my dad's side. I never met my grandpa on my dad's side, but they say he was biracial. So do that, biracial, and my grandmother, she's a native. His mother, my father's mother, she's a native as well. So, and then, my father and my mother got together, and here I come, So yeah, most of us are a mixed race of people, man. And the only thing I can say about that is that's what it is. We're a mixed race of people. We have some of everything in us. Not everybody is Cherokee. Not everybody is Blackfoot. Not everybody is Moor. Not everybody is Hebrew Israelite. We're all those things collectively. There are someone that even have some. Some of us that even have some Egyptian in our blood. You know, and these are things for certain. So we're a mixed race of people, and the Blackfoot tribe say they've been on the land for more than 10,000 years. And there are some that say they've been on the land for, more than that. But I could tell you this, historically and proven facts, they have, scientists have found, no, what they call those anthropologists, yeah, have found bodies and did the work on them and discovered that most of those, there's been a few, and they're all what they call Negroid, and they're actually dated millions of years ago. And that surpasses, the Olmec, the Aztec, and everything. So yeah, it's proven that we've been here on the land even before the Native American. I mean, they're certainly been here long enough to be indigenous. They are, but they were not there first. They were not there first. They came right along the Bering Strait, and that's how they got to the land. But they are indigenous, but we're the first indigenous. And actually, we're indigenous from both sides, from Africa and from Turtle Island, Like I said, I'm fortunate to remember my great grandmother. So, I know for a fact she was from the Blackfoot tribe, for sure, And on the African side, according to African ancestry DNA, it's Fulani or Yoruba. So yeah, I've been, checking out and studying who I am, what made me, what mixture do I have off of in me? So yeah, that's what I found out, And collectively, I can't think of a better word to call us besides African American than original people. Yeah, that's what I say. We are the original people, so let it be like that simple. The original people. Native Americans, they say we're Native American. Well, we can say we're the original people. Yeah. So that's all I got for you guys. I wanted to check in from the Beyside Jewel. Until the next time, I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll check in and see you soon. Peace.